Welcome back to part two of DoorDash Truth. I am Mr.BetonYou. Now, in today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about who actually is doing the majority of these gig apps. Well, minorities are. In many states, up to 70% of the people doing gig work are Hispanics or African Americans. Did you know that? I didn't, and I've talked to some people about it, and there's going to be a lot of reports by, economic reports and all. Listen, we're talking about DoorDash and what it does for people, the positives versus the negatives. And some would say a lot of people are being taken advantage of with these gig apps, and a lot of them are minorities, English as second language, black and brown individuals. How do you feel when I say that? Do you think that's true? Are you Hispanic? Are you African American? Do you feel like the apps are controlling you? Do you feel like this is a very obviously easy entry level, low skill, no education job to get into? And many people that come to this country or are first generation Hispanic don't have that. We don't have an education. We don't have this. We don't have that. We look at it as an opportunity and it's quick and it's easy. Now my question is, do the gig apps prey on that? Are they taking advantage of people in that way? People of color? Many would say yes. But I would argue this. Listen, in part one, I told you I did a lot of passenger rideshare. When I didn't have a car for a period of time, I used Uber to get around, to go out, to go to work. And in St. Louis, a lot of the people that would pick me up were drivers from parts of West Africa, drivers from India, drivers that were Hispanic, drivers that were white, drivers that were black, drivers that were Asian, but a lot of minorities. I would say 8 out of every 10 was a minority person that picked me up for a rideshare. And 99% of those drivers liked what they did. I'd have conversations with them. Now, maybe they're just being nice, who knows? But they're supporting their families, they're feeding their families, they're coming into this work, and I think they're mostly grateful. Now, I do think some come into it and they don't know how to get out, and maybe they're not making the money they think they're really making. I don't know. But I think we have to give credit to individuals more than assume that they are just being taken advantage of. I think most people that do the gig economy obviously do it part time for a small amount of time, but there are a large percentage of Hispanic and African American or immigrants that come to this country and do this type of work, and they do it for years and years and years and years. If you're one of them, let me know in the comments down below. What has your experience been like in the gig economy? Do you feel like it's a race to the bottom? Do you feel like you're a hamster, you're spinning your wheels and you're never going to advance in life? I think a lot of us fall into that, whether it's W-2 or gig work. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Like I've said from when I started, I had a plan. I didn't know where it would take me, but I had a plan coming into this. And I did the whole bet on you set goals one day at a time. I used and I'm using still currently the gig apps as a stepping stone, as an opportunity, as a freedom and flexibility way of me making money on my time. Like I won't work tomorrow. And when you're watching this, it's Saturday. I'm at the lake. Some would say I'm lucky. Some would say I'm benefit from other things. It is what it is, right? But I fit into the group that we're talking about right now, and I don't feel like I'm been taken advantage of. I feel like we have to start taking the power back. I think the gig apps, at times, clearly they understand who's doing this type of work. They know the numbers. They know the analytics. They know the races and the ages. And also, did you know over 30% of people that do this work are between the ages of 18 and 33? That's young. That tells me a lot of students are doing this right out of college, in college, young adults, people of the age where you start to have kids, and maybe you have to have a second side hustle to support your family. Most drivers do that as well. They have a main income and they use this as a side to supplement. I think that's fantastic. So why is it that so many people still look at it as a negative, as app slavery, as some would call it, or they look at it as we're being controlled and taken advantage of? I don't feel like we should look at it like that. And I think for the large amount of the majority of people that are doing this work, that English is a second language or whatever, I don't feel they feel that way. And I'd love to do a bigger series on that and go across the country, interview people from all different backgrounds, all different ethnic groups, all different ages to get the pulse of like actual individuals, not just my perspective or the maybe the 100 people I know in St. Louis that dash that I've run into over the last couple of years, or just a commenter in a video, or another content creator with an opinion, or somebody does research and they poll 100 people. I'd love to get more information. If you guys would like to see that, let me know. But once again, I feel we have to stop being the victims and assuming this thought based on somebody else's experience that could only be one individual that was either too negative or too positive of an experience with DoorDash or Uber or Lyft or whatever. Once again, I think this kind of work is done mostly part-time by a few people here and there as a gap in between jobs, in between a W-2, you got furloughed, you got laid off, whatever. You come to this country, you need an opportunity, your friend tries to get you a job, it doesn't work out, you need to pay the bills right now. I got an automobile, whatever, I got a scooter, I got a bike. I'm going to turn these apps on and make some money until I figure out what my next move is. I think if the gig apps went away entirely, it would cripple the economy. I think of the millions of people that are making money part-time or full-time, if you tried to had to make money tomorrow and the app was not there, think about all the people that would suffer. Some people want the apps to go away. Some people say they should go away. They're a scam. They're fraud. I don't believe that. I believe the apps are what we make it. We have to look at the opportunity, whether you're white, black, or brown, use that opportunity to the best of your ability in your marketplace and work that app as an opportunity with a plan for a set amount of time. I think if you do that, you can have a lot of success. A lot. A lot of the legislation that we seeing being passed are in big markets. California, the biggest market. New York City, Seattle, big market. And a lot of workers that work in those markets are minorities. And then you have collective groups, unions that want to get involved, right? Why do you think that is? I think we got to start taking back control of things that we can control. We can control our movements, the apps that we choose to work, how we work them, what orders we select, what orders we decline. That to me is how we get back at the companies. So when you're a DoorDash driver and they send you a $2 and $3 order, regardless of where you're from, we got to know we should not take that. Decline it, make the offer better for somebody else, or if it comes back to you, then it's juicier. If an Instacart comes in at $10 and then an hour later, because I've seen it, it's back at now it's 16 because they're paying you a boost. If that extra $6 is worth your time now, then maybe you take it. But don't accept it at the 10 if it's not worth your time and then complain about it. We can control our movements. Even when you think you can't sometimes and you had a bad day, you can. We as minorities out there, as first generationers, we can control more than we think we can, and be mindful of who you're listening to and who wants to help you, whether it's a politician or legislation or this or that. A lot of them are only there for a couple of years and then they move on. You're here forever. You can do more for you than any one individual or group can do for you. So that's part 2. I would love to hear your comments down below. Bring some facts. Let me know. Percentages. What are you seeing? What have you heard? How do you think the gig apps look at minorities, Hispanics more specifically, in the gig economy, right? How do you think they view us? Do you think they are knowingly taking advantage of us because English is our second language or whatever? I would love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Little teaser to part 3. Part 3 is going to be about 5 years from now, looking into the future. Will I still be doing the gig apps? How much will I be doing them? Will I be one app? Will I be 1 or 2 orders a day? Will it be not at all because I'm maybe doing other things? Will I fail at the things that I have and I'll still be doing the gig economy, making the same YouTube videos, ride-alongs? Is that even going to be a thing? Will robots be more important to where the opportunities are lessened for us? Will the economy tank to where people aren't even getting things brought to the house as much with shopping and this and that, and everybody's just trying to cook at home and save? We'll get into that tomorrow. I hope you guys have a great Saturday. Holiday weekend's coming up. Be safe. If you're out there making money, make good decisions, be safe, and don't allow somebody else to tell you you're being taken advantage of, regardless of your background and regardless of why you do this work. You can control so much, and there are a lot of ways to make money for you out there. See you guys tomorrow.